Hello and welcome to the first of the virtual card and a cuppa in March 2024. My name is Fiona Whitten and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in Wokingham in Berkshire in the lovely UK. I'm just double checking to make sure that this is actually going out live. I hope it is. I think so. Looks like it is. Anyway, yes, so today is a virtual card and a cuppa day. I've had quite a few people ask me, what is a virtual card and a cuppa? So on the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of each month, there is an in-person event over at the Grange Chocolate Cafe here in Wokingham, and everyone attending gets kits and things, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But those people who can't make it because they don't live locally or simply just can't make it on the day, I do a Facebook Live here in the afternoon, so everybody still gets to see the 3 cards that went to the morning's event, and then I also make a 4th card live here on Facebook. Each month there are 2 different kits, one for the first Wednesday and the other for the 3rd Wednesday. People can order them in advance, which makes life easier a little bit for me because I know exactly then how many we've got to prepare. And the cost for the 2 kits is £5. For those who don't live locally, you can still order the kits, and the cost is still £5. But I ask you to also pay a nominal £1 towards the cost of postage. Postage is actually a lot more than that, but hey. I just asked for a nominal amount. So everybody in the UK can therefore be included. So whether you can make it to the in-person event in the morning, which starts at 10 AM, or you're just simply going to view and craft along, or simply just view and do your make later. So anyway, so that's the purpose of this afternoon. There will be another one in a couple of weeks' time. But meanwhile, I will share with you the cards and the kit that was for this morning. So these are the 3 cards. I'm not going to show you them just yet, but I will go through the kit. So basically everything... so everything has already been die cut, scored, whatever. So each kit comes in its own envelope. There will be a base card. This week it's thick basic white. So this is half an A4 sheet, so the other half would have been here. So it's being cut in half at 14.85. So that's your base card. And then for this month there is also a layer of Pool Party. So that's going to go on there, or maybe not, we'll see. We have this month there's also a strip of the inked and tiled paper. This is a 6x6 paper. So this is being cut exactly to the right size. And then there are also some die cuts. So the stamp set and dies and things that we've used this month is called Notes of Nature, and it looks like this. So this is the stamp set. You'll find this in the January to April mini catalogue. So there are stamps, but there are also some rather lovely dies. Oops. She says it just needs to get them out. So the dies, there's all sorts in here. So there's some that go directly with the stamps, and then there are others, such as these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, those 5 that you are all just simply die cut rather than actually coordinate. So those three to coordinate with the actual stamps, and then actually there's actually 6 because there's this one as well. I did share this a few, I want to say a couple of months ago, but it won't have been a couple of months ago because this has only been in the mini catalogue. So it would have been in January, or maybe it was in December as a preview. I'm not too sure, but hey. Anyway, so I'll put up a link to that one as well, so that you can see. So we've used Lost Lagoon. So there's a couple of bits from Lost Lagoon, from Lost Lagoon cardstock, and there's also a couple of bits from Pool Party. So those are the 3 pieces. And yet again, I don't know what goes on with this because I've lost my, I can't have lost my internet, but hey, let's try again, see what's going on. This is just ludicrous. But hey, oh, no, it's definitely still going live. Yeah, okay, right. And then there's also a small piece of basic white cardstock for a sentiment. Now, I know that the sentiments from the Notes of Nature don't exactly fit. Well, that one would, but the rest of them wouldn't. So actually took along another stamp set which can be found in the annual catalogue, and it's called Go To Greetings. And this is rather nice because there's happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note and thank you. So you have a large font, you have a middle-sized font, and then you have a much smaller font. So there's a really nice selection of the same sentiments which you can use depending on what you're wanting to put it on. And in the smallest font there's also a hello, which is a very sweet sentiment. So these are actually shown at 90% on the front, and this is the actual size of them. So the hello, she says, trying to get it out, will be slightly larger than what's on the front, but not much. If I put it up like that, you can just about make out that it is slightly different. Hopefully you can see from there. So this is a great a go-to, hence the name Go To Greetings, and you'll find this in the annual catalogue. So that was what went to the card and the Cuppa this morning, along with some Lost Lagoon ink. I love this colour. It's a really, really pretty bluey green. So what did the samples look like? And I don't know. So that was the first sample that everyone got to see. So this has the happy birthday from the Go To Greetings stamped on here. The long piece was cut down, and then all the others were simply added. These are all simply glued on. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of Wink of Stella on there as well. So it's lovely and shiny. This never shows very well in this light. I can never get it to actually show. I can see it sparkling, but I don't know if you can. But hey, anyway, and then the sentiment, and then a rhinestone. And then on the inside there's just one of the images from the stamp set. So there we have that. So that was the first one. The second one, so we've switched from portrait to landscape, but it does mean that because that they fold here is at the top rather than at the side, because everybody gets the same base card. So this time we only used a piece of the paper. Have to be careful because this is directional, so we couldn't have it going across, because otherwise all these little images here would have been sort of going across, which would have been a slightly weird. So there's that. Again, the larger of the die cuts was cut down and placed so that the thank you sentiment actually hides the ends. So that's on there, and again a couple of rhinestones. Third one, we've simply, so we've stamped, so this sentiment is actually from the Notes of Nature. So today, this is just a little note to say hello. So that's been stamped directly onto the pool party panel. Obviously you need to be careful if you're stamping direct onto the panel to make sure that there's still enough space to put all the images and the die cuts and things that you want to add. And it's also as well to stamp that first, because if you make a little boo-boo, you can just simply then turn the cardstock over and stamp it again. So that was stamped. The strip of inked and tiled paper was added. The long, kind of looks like a beanstalk, like from Jack and the Beanstalk to me, on here. So that was added. The little rectangle for the sentiment, we simply cut it so that it kind of looked like a flower pot. So just because there's a piece in there to stamp a sentiment doesn't mean it has to be used like that. The whole point of this is to show you just how versatile the kit is. So yes, we've shown 3 different cards, but we haven't used everything necessarily the way that we kind of thought we would intended to use it. So it's just to give you some ideas that you know, the same kit can produce completely different cards. So that was that piece. So that was the little piece of basic white that, as I say, simply cut into a flower pot shape. So we've got everything like coming out of that. And again, there's some wink of Stella on there, but I don't know that you can see. Don't know what goes on with this sometimes. Got it directly under the light in the hope that you can actually see it, but hey. Right, anyway, and then on the inside, again, it's just simply stamped. So in fact, and that's got stamped. That's been stamped. That one's been stamped, and this one has been stamped. And of course, you can stamp the envelope as well. So that's that. So let me just show you. I'm just going to show you quickly the. So this is the Notes of Nature bundle, which we've used. So we have the stamp set. And we have the dies. If you go looking for it in the catalogue, you'll find it on page 43. And it's part of the Nature Sweetness suite. Cool. It's a bit of a mouthful. Nature Sweetness suite. And then you'll also, so we have some images here that give you some ideas. And then there is also more here on page 71, just if you're wondering where it is in the catalogue. So there's another idea here. So that is the what we use. So of course, if you're interested in purchasing this, you can go online. If you go to oakvillecrafts.stampinup.net, that will take you to my Stampin' Up website, and from there you can shop any of these products, and when I get this uploaded to YouTube, I always add a link to the store there as well, directly for the products. So what am I going to do with all these bits and pieces? So far we've got 2 portrait, 1 landscape, and I guess I need to decide whether or not I want to do another landscape or stick to the portrait. So this is what I was saying about this paper being directional, so it would look slightly odd if we were to have it landscape that way. Sometimes you can just simply turn the paper over. I'm not so sure that I kind of like the checked look though, so that's not my cup. It's not, well, I say it's not my cup of tea, that's wrong. I would use it, but just not for this particular card. I don't think it goes particularly well with the colours that we have here. So the question is, am I going to use that or not? And as I said, the answer is I don't know. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pencil, and I want to mark. I want to put my sentiment here, like so. I'm just going to lightly draw around it, and I can take that off afterwards. So I've got a rectangle. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very faint on my cardstock. And the reason I've done that is I'm going to stamp and use these pieces. So I want to get the stamps out. So we're going to use that one. Well, I could actually use that as a background, but this is just to give me sort of a reference point as to where to stamp. So maybe I'll do that. Okay, and we'll see. Well, if I don't like it, I can turn the paper, the cardstock over. So it's not the end of the world if I decide that I don't like it. Let's see, escape block. Like so. So I'm going to be stamping Lost Lagoon onto Pool Party. The Lost Lagoon is a lot darker than the Pool Party. And I know I had the Lost Lagoon. There we go. Ink pad. And I'm not too sure if I want to do it full strength or to stamp off first. I'm going to ink up and stamp on my grid paper, and then I'm not gonna stamp on here. So it's just faint, which is fine. I don't want it to be totally in your face, because I just want it as a light background. And I'm going to put there, like so. And in fact, now that I've actually stamped that grid, you can't really see that that mark anyway. So I just want that as a highlight for the other images that I'm going to stamp on here. So we have this one. And then this space is also a good reference point, so you know where you want to have your end of your stem. So I've got that. And we have the leaf as well. So let's put that on a block. Now I might end up deciding that I'm not going to use one of them. So let's just stamp it first and see what it looks like on here. No, I will be using that. So I'm just going to stamp one coming out here. And one coming out here. Like that. And then I'm just going to add a couple of these, I think. I know, I kind of like order. I don't always, but when it comes to layering something like this, so that would then go on here, like so. But then we can also add in the actual pieces. So we have this one, which I think I might put down here. That one that can go here, just to add some other interest. That one can go, that one can go down here, I think. And that tiny little one. Be careful of the die for this. It has a habit of disappearing. I lost it for a couple of hours until I realised that actually it was stuck to the bottom of my trimmer. And then we could add some of this as well, but I'm not too sure. I might just use that for the inside. So we have that. So that's going to be the front. And then we also have this piece to add the sentiment. And then what sentiment are we going to use? As I said, this one, just a little note to say hello, will just fit on there. So I think I'm going to use that. So that's from the actual Notes of Nature stamp set. Will that fit on there? Yes. So that's fine. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, excuse me, because I've kind of put this off so you can't see it, but it's also where I can see it so that I'm not putting my head in the way, which I don't think you really want to see the top of my head, especially since I'm having a bit of a bad hair day. But hey. So what I've done is I've used my grid paper and looked through the block, and I've lined this bottom line of the sentiment with a line on the grid paper. So in theory, when I stamp, it should be straight. But proof is in the actual doing, I guess, so let's just try it. Yeah, there you go. Not that you can see that, I don't think. I'll move the grid paper up a second. There you go, just a little note. You can see that it did actually come out straight. Let's move that ink out of the way. Now I have to repeat it. Okay, so I've gone somewhat off. I said this is half the problem when you can't actually see what you're doing. So let's try again. Hopefully that is in the right position. Yes, that'll do. That's fine. Okay. So that will get added on the top there. So this is going to get added with dimensionals. These can be glued, but I'm only going to glue the ends. I'm not even going to attempt to try and fix down the top parts. I just need a little bit of glue on the end. Oops. That's going to be enough for all of them. These are quite tiny, so right. I'll put that. Oops, this is where I realised that was upside down, but that's okay. So that can go that way. I don't really want it going off the edge of the card. I know that there is some space there. Now where did that line go? Because I really don't want this to be lost. So I put that there. So that would be okay. Oops. Managed to get that fixed to my hand. Again, that one can go here. That one can go there. Oops. Okay. Stay on there. I'm just rubbing off the glue, and then that is going to get on top. So I've got the side that I managed to mess up a bit, so I'm going to put and I'm only going to put them in the middle. Oops. There we go. Just 3, I don't need any more than that. So that, excuse me for moving this down so I can actually see. That was roughly. And I'm not even going to attempt to try and erase the line, because quite frankly you can't actually see it with all that stamping on top. So that will then get glued to the base card. Let's move all these inky stamps out the way, because I really don't need that. So that is going to go on there like that. So that's how it'll look when once it's been glued. So we use the glue, put that on. You could use some dimensionals and add that again to the card front using dimensionals, but I'm just going to stick with the glue. So that's that. Now I've still got this piece and I've still got the paper. Just going to leave them to one side for the moment, because I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with those. But I am going to add some clear ink of Stella, and we hope we can actually see this. So I'm just going to put it on these frondy bits. Could have done that before I put it on here, but hey. If it goes underneath, it's not really the end of the world. So like that. And there is some sparkle on there, but again, you probably can't see it because of the light. There's that. I mean, the other thing I could do is to put some sparkle on the actual card itself. And to do that, it's just a case of tapping or flicking. So you want to make sure that you've got some Wink of Stella in the tip here. There's more than enough there. And then you could just simply use your lid to flick onto the card. So I think that's enough. Don't want to go completely overboard. So there's now little dots of Wink Stella on the card itself. You can see where they are because they haven't yet dried, but they will dry really quickly. And then I'm also going to add some rhinestones to the front. Because let's face it, you can never have enough bling. I'm going to use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick them up. Makes life so much simpler, this thing, because you just literally touch the putty to it, and you can sometimes you can pick them up straight away, and that's other times you have to kind of like slide like that. Let's see, I don't want a really large one, but I'm going to go here, I think. I'm not going to go too mad with them, I'm just going to put 3 on like that. So that is what my finished card looks like. So I drew the rectangle in pencil, used the grid, but stamped off first so that it gave me a lighter background, and then overstamped in the same colour the fronds and leaves, and then added the die cuts. Added the sentiment in the middle, and then added a few rhinestones. So that's the front of the card. And the inside, again, we could do something similar and do the grid with a stamped leaf over the top. The thing about that is because stamping on white, even though it will have been stamped off, it will still be quite bright. So I could just simply use some of the paper, which is not actually long enough for the inside of the card, and I'm not sure why that is. I know, because it was originally going to go onto the panel. So that's not quite long enough. We've got this that we could add. Like so, but that's kind of, to my mind, a little bit heavy. So I guess I'm going to stamp. And the question is, I think I might just stamp this image. I'm not going to use the grid. I'm just going to use this. And I don't want the end of the stem on there, so I'm just going to simply make sure that that's off. So there's that. So that's the inside. Of course, should decorate the envelope. Now here we could use the paper on here, or there. Like so. Maybe I will do that way, at least the paper has been used. To be honest, I really don't know how paper decorated envelopes fare going through franking machines and things at the post office. I hope that the paper stays on there and it doesn't get caught, but it's something, I guess, to be wary of. You just need to make sure that you've well and truly glued it on. Take that off, throw that away now before I end up with a mess all over the place. And again, we could actually stamp that on top, see how that goes. very faint, but that's okay. Right, so that is the 4th card using the same kit. I think I've got some glue on here. So that's my 4th card, and that's the envelope to go with it. And then these are the other 3. So in total there are 4 cards. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing those. As I said, I will put up the I always put up the instructions of how everything was cut. I will also add the link for the bundle and the paper and things like that, so that if you fancy having a go at making this, then that will be, you can. Also, we are, it's March, I can't believe it, so celebration's been and gone, which means that we're also, because we're in March, we're starting to wind down the annual catalogue, which is really sad. So keep an eye out for various bits and pieces that will be happening in the next month and a half. The annual catalogue goes, actually not just the annual catalogue and the mini catalogue go till the end of April. So if you are wanting any of these supplies, then now's the chance to order them. So you can visit the Oakville Crafts Stampin' Up site, which is oakvillecrafts.stampinup.net. If you would like to order some kits for April, then you can do so on my blog, which is oakvillecrafts.com, and you will be able to order from there direct for April, I should say, and May. And then you just follow the links on there. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and next week it will be a stamping and creating afternoon, so I will be talking to you then. Take care. Bye.